Hey yo, this is Nas. Put it down for you shit like that. All the way around the motherfucking world. Black Frank Sinatra on your ass. QB Braveheart, nigga. Was classified as the bastard who died. Rumors say I came back alive with an axe and attack niggas acting like knives. My passion is to capitalize. Come through my hood, you get jacked for your ride. Catch you from the bathroom side. My words turn to sea red, like the eyes of a weed head. Y'all peep my legs and hide like Easter eggs. I ride to the people sticking. Caskets drop, your soul go further up than astronaut. I'm talking and living. Y'all weak dudes should offer forgiveness. Cause frontin' like you ill, get yourself tortured by killers. In New York, I'm the realest. Predicted by fortune tellers, sick with the talking methods. AKs, Berettas, my whole team is feelers like Jerome Betters. Ramming niggas like St. Louis, we dough getters. And y'all niggas was losers, nothing fucking with us. Nothing but brave hearts gon' hustle with us.
You feel what I feel. You know the deal. You feel what I feel. You know the deal. As I pour rings, snatch the stripes. What you do in the dark will come to light. As we move on these cows with immaculate steel. 4 pound spit, and that's it. Enough said, no one is real. Homies get killed, mothers are mourn. It's too ill, families torn. Reality set, for good he's gone. Caught one up at his neck. That old ass Lex couldn't even murk correct. While you think get all that airplay, we laying low behind the scenes, sending shots your way. You need to be shot, spitting all that bullshit. Eyes on the target when we cop back. Bullets are real, murder, murder. Keep your eyes on the burner for real. Blood is spilled, can you stomach the deal? If not, fall back, cause we giving hot flashes. When half come through, it's a rap for all you bastards. You feel what I feel. You know the deal. You feel what I feel. You know the deal. 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 You know the deal.
Follow. People, they know they follow. People, they know they copy. People all up in my grotto. They see me like a genie, try to keep me in a bottle. Petty people, keep them incommunicado. They tie you up in strings that play niggas like pizzicato. Lose sight of the picture, scripture, now they not so steady. Meanwhile, I'm like Curtis Mayfield, getting people ready. See into the future, then cut through like a machete or cutlass. All these trappers leaving niggas gutless. You can't make moves with justice, you can't make no adjustments. Drowning in corruption, Charlie addict to convenience. Now they got you caught up in calling freedom extremists. We're not in agreement, I won't play down politely. I closed my mouth for years, and they still tried to fight me. I sat down on the sidelines, and they still tried to bite me. They buried my career and promoted my peers to spite me. But they can't tell me nothing, Charlie, they don't underwrite me. Had a lot of money thrown at me, none of that shit excites me. It's just another kind of cage to get up in my psyche. To use me as an instrument to further push their puppet show. But I'm not inexperienced, and it's not my first rodeo. I'm not so shallow, Charlie, I call it too precisely. Separate bone from marrow, so much so that they dislike me. Intuitive, Charlie, we be like fugitives. Until the universe responds to show them who the student.
You feel what I feel. You know the deal. You feel what I feel. You know the deal.
and contact. Hey, I ain't come to preach, I'll let Jamaica stand behind that. I just want a seat so I can know where my behind's at. Hey, no turning back now, I got here without a scratch. I once was the background, but now I stand side core. Never thought this rapping would be breathing down my 30s, yo. Hey, you could call it focus, I've been staring at them birdies, yo. It's more than what I expected, but damn it, I'm thankful. See, I've been a blessed man, but blessings don't pay the bills. I'm all about the art, but compromising don't hang well. What monetary fee'll get your commas by the hangnail? My conscience wouldn't breathe right, but you on the other hand, you'd rather suffocate to be ahead of another man. Full of yourself like you the moon and shit. You ain't the last supper, boy, you're just a spoon in it.
Sometimes I feel like I'm standing on a track, waiting for a train to hit. Hopefully someone will move me. Hard time seems to choose me. I entered this new year with all my old fears, old bills and older ears. That's tired of hearing what I don't have and what I haven't done, what I haven't provided for daughter and son. I stand here growing in grief, never showing my teeth. For what? Smiling's not the answer. My father says I'll find it in prayer. I'd rather find health care. I don't feel good these days. Sick to my stomach of my ways, of wanting others to fail, just so I won't be alone in the pale for self. Like in jail for self, I'm calling out for my phone call, just to get told I'm not provided any service at all.
Right, we here. We are here. No, better late than never. In the name of Amen, the Supreme, the All-Powerful, the one and only true Lord. In Amen we trust. In Amen we thank. And in Amen we continue forward forever. Good evening. I'm your host, the Intellectual Lord Benjamin Manhattan, and this is High and Mighty Thoughts with me, the Intellectual Lord Benjamin Manhattan. And tonight I'm going to be discussing Black History Month because it starts tomorrow. Black History Month starts tomorrow. And I would like that abolished. I would like Black History Month abolished. And I'm going to go into why. But before I start, in the name of Amen, the Supreme, the All-Powerful, the one and only true Lord, in Amen we trust, in Amen we thank, and in Amen we continue forward forever. Hail Amen. So, here we go. Black History Month. the shortest month in the year, and was started by, I think, Carter G. Woodson. Look up the history of Black History Month. All right, Carter G. Wilson. I always remember that name, Carter G. Wilson. Black History Month. Black History. I think it started off as Negro History Week. All right, I think it started off as a week, and then it went to a month. Right. Carter G. Woodson is widely recognized as the father of Black History Month, as he initiated the concept of Negro History Week, which eventually evolved into a month-long celebration we know today, primarily choosing February to coincide with the birthdays of Abraham Lincoln and Frederick Douglass, two significant figures in American history with strong connections to the Black community. First and foremost, that was my little brief history I read on Carter G. Woodson, the founder of so-called Black History Month. Started off as Negro History Week. That's when we were Negroes. Right? Bunch of Negroes. How outdated, how played out is the whole Black history thing? How outdated and how played out is that? How, in 2025, should we really still be celebrating Black History Month in 2025? Should we still be allowing people to call us Black people in 2025 or call ourselves Black people in 2025? That went out with Negro. That went out with Black, went out with Negro, and African American should go out as well, man, in 2025. Negro, Black, and African American should all be thrown in the garbage. Okay, all of it, because it's been holding us back and hiding who we truly are, our true identity as American Indigenous people. You see, who have no origins to Africa, who have no origins or no real connection to Black, whatever that is. We sitting up here celebrating a fraudulent month of history for whoever so-called Black people are. Our skin is not Black. We didn't come over on no damn slave ships from Africa. So what is this? What is this? My little daughter. Hello, dear. And my children. No, I'm not gonna put on camera. Go on. Go on, cutie pie. My little daughter. One of them. So why are we still doing this in 2025? Why are we still walking around millions and billions of people sitting out here calling themselves Black people as if that's a real race? Black is not a race. Black is a classification that was put on American Indigenous people by the racist government here that decided to misclassify our people purposely so that we wouldn't know that we are the real American Indigenous people or so-called American Indians that have always been in America. You see, Black hides that. Black hides that. Black is a redacted terminology for the American Indigenous people to hide our culture, to hide our history of who we are. In fact, I think it was Dane Calloway's wife who exposed the whole thing about Black History Month really being a month for coal miners. The coal miners who were working in the mines and they had mines all over North Dakota, South Dakota. They had a Black History Month, something like that. I think she brought that out. And then they had just attached it to our people, which, whether it happened like that or not, I wouldn't be surprised if it did. I'm not going to say, I know the full history on Black History Month. I'm not going to say that. I don't care, because I'm not a Black man. Black is not a nationality. Black is not a real identity. When the hell are our people going to wake up? When the hell are our people going to wake up to the fact that Black is not a real nationality, nor is it a real identity? You're walking around using a governmental term that was meant to misclassify you and erase you from American history. Our history does not start with the beginning of the United States of America. We have a history in America, a long, extensive history in America before the formation of the United States government, before the U.S. government. In fact, the Indians or the American indigenous people, the American Indians who were already set up here, meaning our people, not to be confused with the Native Americans. We'll get on that in a second. We were already here in the Americas. And I keep saying this before. We were already here in the Americas as the original Americans, the first Americans, the only real American indigenous people here. So our nationality is American. We're only real Americans. So, and then now here Tariq Nasheed said this, which sounds familiar. When Tariq Nasheed said we're the only real Americans. Okay, so if we're the only real Americans, why are you calling us black people? Why are we being called black people? If we know our identity, when you hear Italian, when you hear French, when you hear German, when you hear Irish, when you hear, whatever, when it comes around to American, that's ours. That is ours. It don't belong to Europeans. It don't belong to Asians who trying to pass themselves off as American. The term American belongs to the original Americans, the original copper-colored races that were found here by the Europeans who are now calling themselves Americans. Even the word American comes from our people. We have a very rich heritage, a very rich and real American history and heritage here in this country. We don't have to go around calling ourselves black people no more. Hello? Why are we still walking around here calling ourselves black people in 2025? Why are we still walking around here calling ourselves African American and all these fake ass misclassifications that the U.S. government keeps misclassifying us as? The truth is out. So why is it still this black thing? Why is blackness still being pushed to our people? Why is the shortest history in the month with a bunch of boule coons who's sitting up here trying to pass themselves off as icons to our people like Frederick Douglass, a Sambo and a sellout? Why are they pushing these people as icons to our people? Why are they sitting up here saying we should celebrate a bunch of sellouts and turncoats? Because you know this, if this society is telling us, the racist society of this country is telling us that these are our leaders, because that's really what Black history is. It was to give you people to look at, to look up to celebrate. People who are not really worth celebrating. Frederick Douglass is not worth celebrating. Can anybody tell me what the hell Frederick Douglass did other than make some speeches? Can anybody tell me what makes Frederick Douglass and all the people who are supposed to be so-called black icons that's supposed to be celebrated in Black History Month? You tell me, what the hell did they really do? What did they really do? What did Frederick Douglass really do? Give me some of the names they tell you that's supposed to be celebrated in Black History Month. Because I know the real indigenous people, the real people who did something that was worthwhile, like your Benjamin Banneker's, like your Berry Gordy's, like the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, the real American heroes. Those people are never really celebrated in Black History Month. What you're given is a bunch of sellouts, a bunch of Sambos who sit up here and we try to form some kind of make-believe history around them like they did something for our people. What did they do? Well, so if you celebrating these people in Black History Month, what did these people do that's worthy of being celebrated? I like to really know. Get some of these civil rights niggas up here to come in here and tell us what Black History Month did, and all the people that's celebrated in Black History Month. What did they do? They got Malcolm X up in Black History Month. What did Malcolm X do? I want to really know. What did Malcolm X do other than sell the Nation of Islam out? What did Malcolm X really do? What did Frederick Douglass do? What did Marcus Garvey do? What's some? Give me some of the Rosa Parks. What did they do? I'll wait. They'll talk about integration. Let me tell you something. Do you know why integration really happened in this country? Do you know why? Because you had a lot of American indigenous people, a lot of bronze-skinned people, a lot of indigenous people, us. You had a lot of our people creating their own sections in this country. You had a lot of our people who didn't want to live under the Jim Crow tyranny of the South, who created their own businesses, who created their own communities. Bronzeville, and even in the north end of the South, created their own sections, created their own businesses, right? To cater to our people. We didn't bother the white folks. We didn't bother the Caucasians. We didn't bother them, but they somehow came around and bothered us. They came and bothered us, or they came around, hung around our areas and whatnot, where they would come listen to music. When we have clubs, their children come listen to music around us, but we couldn't go around them, no. But they would come, they'd send their children around us. You see, they would send their children around us. They would hang around in juke joints and hang around listening to our music and stuff like that, getting taught by our people, learning the music that we created as American indigenous people, not as Africans, not as African Americans, as American indigenous people, or as the white man say, American Indians. You see, why is that history not talked about? Why is the history of how we set up towns here in our country, because we was doing this already after slavery, after everything happened and the war went on. Like I said, we went right back to doing what we were doing here in this country before the Europeans came here, which was building on land, growing crops and all this. And for them to sit up here and deny that we actually are responsible for the economy of the United States of America, we, the so-called Black Americans, aka the American Indians, the real American Indians, not to be confused with the Native Americans, because I keep hearing y'all say Black Native Americans. Please stop saying y'all Black Native Americans. Please stop that. Please stop with the Black Native American nonsense. We're not no Black Native anything. We're not black skinned people. We're not black people, other than we were blacklisted in under the United States government. When they started to form the United States government, they basically said that they're not going to make the indigenous people, the real Americans, us, they're not going to make us citizens. You see, that's what all the Jim Crow and all the stuff, they basically said that they were not going to make us citizens under the law. This is why we were always going back and forth for civil rights, because the U.S. government did not want to make the American indigenous people, the real Americans, they didn't want us to be part of the United States government. They didn't want us to be part of the United States society was setting up here. They used us to build the government, they used us to build the economy for the United States of America through farm labor, through agriculture, through all of the things that ended up building the economy, because the economy of America is in the soil. The economy of America was in this, it was and still is in the soil. But that was the major economy prior to our people growing the cotton, harvesting cotton and tobacco and all other kinds of cash crops. Because all of the and somebody would say all of the I'm gonna get to that in a second too. All of the crops and things that were harvested and grown on plantations was grown by our people, American Indians, American Indigenous, the real American Indians. We grew all the crops because the so-called white man, the Europeans, they didn't know how to grow nothing here. They didn't know how to grow nothing here. And the so-called Native Americans, the Mongolians, they didn't know how to grow nothing here neither, because they're not indigenous to America. Which brings me again to this point. Native to America and indigenous to America are two totally different things. Okay? Native to America and indigenous to America are two totally different things. So-called black people, so-called Black Americans are indigenous to America. South America, Central America, North America, Mexico, Jamaica, all of that's so-called black people here. Puerto Rico, all that was so-called black people, bronze people, bronze-skinned people, copper-colored people, the real American indigenous people. See, y'all don't know all the American indigenous tribes that are not, that were basically struck from history. We held on. We had to hold on to our American indigenous heritage and culture through our grandmothers and grandfathers who would tell you, oh, we Cherokee, we come from here, we Pamunkey, or we this. There's so many American and Indian tribes. Shout out to my American indigenous shirt from Oxnard. Y'all like this shirt from Oxnard? It's a brand new joint. You see, brand new joint from Oxnard. American indigenous flavor going on here. But anyway, our people were already here in America before the Europeans came here, before the Mongoloid Native Americans came here. We were already here as the bronze-skinned, copper-colored indigenous Americans. the people who are indigenous to the land, meaning we were first and only people on the land who did not come from any place else. We do not have any culture in Africa or any history in Africa. They lying to our people because they do not want to admit, the U.S. government and those people who sit up here who whitewash history don't want to admit that the real American Indians is us. Because how else will we know how to grow and farm this land and harvest this land, which is what they was using us for. They wasn't using us to just pick no cotton. They was using us to harvest the cotton, grow the cotton. You had to know the seasons to grow, which certain tricks to use to do with the soil. Our people knew how to do that because we was doing that before the Europeans came here. You see, our people was already doing that before they came here. Remember, I asked the question again. This is how you know they lying about the transatlantic slave trade. Because what did I say in the last few broadcasts? I said, what good would African slaves have been here? What good? Nobody could give me no real answer. What good would bringing Africans here do? What good would bringing Africans into America do? They didn't know how to do anything. They didn't know how to speak the language. They couldn't grow nothing here. You don't make those trips all the way to Africa. Do you know what it means to go from America all the way over to Africa? Do you know what that means on the type of boats they had? Do you know what that means? And half the crew not making it back, people dying on the way. Are you serious? Or what would make more sense for them to take the people who already here, who already know how to do it and force them to do it? Don't that make more sense? Doesn't it make sense that when the Europeans was coming across America, they had trackers, they had guides. Who do you think the guides and the trackers was? They was our people. It wasn't the Mongolians. It was us. How did our people know how to go across America and take these Europeans across America and we African? How we know how to do that? Look at all the trackers and the people that they had, the guys that would take them all across America, the Europeans and whatnot, take them all across parts of America, which they never even knew about. Our people was doing that. Our people was taking them across America. Hell, Columbus came here with 2 bronze navigators, so-called black navigators. How our people know America so well if we African? How our people know how to grow crops and whatnot? Because again, you don't fight, because they keep telling this lie, and it don't even make no sense that they brought Africans here to pick cotton and cut tobacco and sugar cane. BS. BS. They didn't know how to grow none. You just brought them here. You brought all these people here just to pick cotton, to do manual labor. Do that even sound right? That they brought the Africans here to do manual labor, pick cotton. They even said, oh, that's easy. See, y'all don't deserve no reparation. See how easy it is to pick cotton? So why y'all didn't do it? So why didn't you crackers do it? Why you didn't pick your cotton? Why you didn't pick the cotton? Why you didn't grow the tobacco? Why is it that you couldn't make one of your colonies work until Virginia, until you start getting indigenous people to be slaves for you when y'all captured the indigenous people in wars and things like that, prisoners of war that you forced to get them to work. That's how you got your labor force. That's where slavery came from them raping and robbing and pillaging villages while people had. Well, we were growing growing out of the ground, growing cotton and tobacco. We was growing all this stuff. Well, we had homes at. How did the Africans know how to build homes? You said that the Africans built the slave quarters. How they know how to build slave quarters? How the Africans, who y'all say was primitive, who was living in damn huts and wherever the hell y'all say the Africans was living, how they know how to do all that here in America? Y'all wasn't showing them how to do nothing. So how did they know how to build buildings? They said the slaves built the White House. How they know how to build buildings? How they know how to blacksmith? How they know how to do carpentry? How they know how to do all of these things that y'all didn't teach them how to do? You wouldn't even teach niggas how to read. How the hell you talking about they learned it from y'all? They ain't learned nothing from you. You didn't know how to do it. You took the people that were already doing it and you forced them to do it. That's all. You forced them to do it. The people who were already here doing it. Us. Our ancestors. They're real American indigenous people. So it is a slap in the face when somebody's sitting up here telling us we're supposed to celebrate some damn Black History Month. That's basically like you saying Blank History Month. Ain't y'all tired when they sit up here and they call out the nationality of people, the Italians, the French, the German, the Irish, the Nigerians, the whoever else in Africa, these people in Africa, You know, which are really newfound. A lot of countries ain't that old. But aren't you tired of them calling out all these people with these different nationalities, the Chinese, Japanese, and all these other people, yet they get to come over here and be American? How they get to come over here and be American when they come from someplace else? How they get to sit up here and claim American when they come from someplace else? Yet the real Americans, the real indigenous people, us, so-called Black Americans, are being hidden. We are being hidden from the spotlight of who we are as the real American. We're being hidden. We're being told we came from Africa on slave ships. And it's not just the white people doing that. It's not just these racist Caucasians doing it. It's a lot of these these fake natives who sitting up here saying, oh, you wabos, you want to be, y'all from Africa. Watch out for a lot of these so-called Native Americans, these red Mongoloid Native Americans. You see, because they never seem to have no problem when the white man comes up and cosplays and act like he Native American and he up there running they damn reservations. You see white boys up there posing as Native Americans. They never say nothing about them. Have you ever seen these so-called natives, these Mexican, really Mexicans, Asians, they Asiatic people? Have you ever heard them say anything when the white man's saying he's Native American, when the white man's saying he got Native American in him? Have you ever heard him say that? They never beef with the so-called white man who they should really be up in arms with, because they said according to them, the white man took all their land. The white man took all their land, took all their whatever. Even though they didn't really have no land, the natives was just living off the land. They really was squatting on land. That's all. They wasn't building nothing. They wasn't harvesting and growing nothing. That's why the Europeans allowed them to own indigenous people, own the slaves and whatnot. They let them do that, and they would also help chase indigenous people down because they needed our people to do the work. They needed our people to work. They needed our people to grow crops. They needed our people to pick cotton. They needed our people to harvest. They needed our people to build. We did everything. We did everything on the plantation in slavery and working for companies. You had whole companies and corporations that had slaves, that owned people, which was indigenous people. You see, this was allowed to go on because they needed a labor force. The Europeans did not know how to do nothing here. They did not know how to do anything. So they had damn near even up to the 20th century that having our people sharecropping and whatnot. All of that is based on us as indigenous people who knew how to grow on the land. Us as American Indians who knew how to grow from the land. The indigenous people, us. That's the real truth of it. So to sit up here and celebrate Black History Month, that's backwards. That's backwards. When we know who we are now as American indigenous people, when we know that the description of the American Indians was those bronze copper-colored people, the bronze copper-colored races that were found here in the Merriam-Webster Dictionary. They were found, how you say 1828 Merriam-Webster Dictionary, American, of definition of American, the Aboriginal copper-colored races that were found here by the Europeans, the original, which is basically us. Basically, they were saying that we are the real original Americans, and these fake Americans, these fake natives came here, and they just anchored themselves to the land, attached themselves to the land, and started having children here, and that's where the whole Native American thing come from the Know Nothing Party, which is Caucasians. You see, this is why the U.S. government helps out the so-called Native Americans, because they're all immigrants. The so-called, listen, the U.S. government knows that the people who are calling themselves Native Americans, who look Asian and Mexican and all these other, they know that those people are not really indigenous to America. The U.S. government knows the history of everybody. They know that we the real indigenous Americans. They know that. They know that the so-called Mongoloid Indians, they're not the real indigenous people. They know that they came from Asia during the Asian slave trade, in which the Spanish brought them over from all parts of Asia, even Hindus on. That's why if you look at a lot of the Mexicans and all these people, Venezuelans, they look like they're Asians. They look East Indian, some of them look Chinese, some of them look Japanese, Filipino. All those are Asiatic people that they brought into Mexico. And again, our people were already there, and they started mixing in the European, the Caucasian, the European Spanish started mixing in with the indigenous bronze people, so-called Black people, and the Asians that came over here. So that became one big melting pot for now Latin America. That's what the whole mixture of Latin America come from the indigenous bronze-skinned people, us, the European Spanish Caucasians, and the Mongoloid Asians. That mix created so-called Latin America. That's why you got a lot of the so-called Latinos that look all types of different complexions and whatnot. You have those who straight up bronze-skinned people. I don't like to use the term black no more. Or some of them look Asian, but they all speak Spanish, which comes from the Europeans, from the Spanish Europeans. You see? So now, knowing all of this, knowing all the information that was put out into the world by those who, big people on YouTube like your Dane Callaways, Kareem Al House. Shout out to all those people who put the information out about who our people truly are as American Indians. They was extensive about it, and shout out to those who I haven't mentioned: Solano YT, Sausalino YT. He's constantly putting out good documentaries. Check that brother's documentaries about Sausalino YT. I'm mispronouncing his name. You need to get a better, more of a name. Because he's my Facebook friend. But I'm gonna tell him he makes some good information on our American indigenous roots, man, our American Indian roots. And let me just clarify this. Our people were always here in America. Before we came into North America, we was in South and Central America. We are indigenous to the continent of America, not just the United States, not just North America. We, bronze-skinned, copper-colored people, so-called black people, are indigenous to the American continent. We are indigenous to American continent. Nobody else is indigenous to the American continent. That was already proven when the oldest living person they found here in the Americas was a bronze woman, so-called black woman, Lucia woman. She wasn't Asian. She didn't look Asiatic. She didn't look like the Native Americans. So how is she the oldest living woman? And she wasn't by herself. She come from a family, mother, father. She had children. So where all these people? How is it that she's the oldest living fossil found here in America? Yet we all supposed to be from Africa. Yet you said so-called black people didn't come into America until the slave trade. Where'd she come from? You want to act like the Mayans that you all in Georgia and in North Carolina. There are Mayan ruins here. There are Mayan cities that were here in Georgia and things like that the U.S. government try to cover up. Don't want you to see that. They don't want you to know that history of the American indigenous people. They don't want us to know that history. You see, they want us to still be black people and Negroes and African Americans and whatever the hell that is. Y'all don't want to wake up to the truth. Y'all want to die with the lie. Black people, so-called black people, blacklisted people, redacted people, people who have had their history taken from them, stolen from them, and having it now attributed to a bunch of Mongolians who call themselves Native Americans. You know what that's like? Because I done seen these people coming out of the bag. A lot of these so-called natives are coming out of the bag on some real racist shit, man. A lot of them are coming out on some real racist shit. A lot of them, you wabos, you want to be in. They bitched about Pharrell Williams. Remember I told you, they bitched about Pharrell Williams wearing American Indian feathered headdress, which he's a real American Indian. You got a bunch of fake natives calling the real American Indians fake. Here it is. We can prove, we got all the receipts in the world to prove that we the real American Indians, but they'll sit up here laugh and go, you want to be African. They're just like the so-called racist white man who don't want to tell the truth. They're no different. A lot of these natives are racist because a lot of them got European in them. A lot of them, that's why they won't take no DNA test. They'll sit up here and tell us we got to take a DNA test. We ain't got to take no goddamn DNA test because all they're going to do is lie on it. All they're going to say is, see, you from Africa. See, you from Africa. You ain't got no American. You ain't American Indian. You from Africa. The DNA say that you linked to some people in Mali. They lying, man. When y'all going to wake up and realize they just lying? These racist crackers, they lying, man. They telling lies. Because they want to be American. They want your identity. So they ready to die with the lie. And the so-called Mongolians, how you know they bogus, because they don't call out the so-called racist Caucasians, the $5 Indians, the pretendians, who these Caucasians walk around in America and act like they didn't come from Europe now. They'll sit up here and all these people, they'll sit up here and tell you, I I'm Cherokee. You got the whitest of white people talking, I'm Cherokee. I'm Choctaw. I'm all. These are the $5. These are the descendants of the $5 Indians who was able to get on the Dawes Roll by giving $5 to get indigenous people land, our land, that was taken from our people. We were forced off of our land by the U.S. government. The same U.S. government that demands that we fight in every war here in this country. From the time this country was started, we fought in every war for its independence, and then they turn around and screw us and take our land. And after we fought in the war, they were supposed to be giving us 40 acres and a mule, but they decided to nix that because it was too much land to give out. Because they knew they would be putting the land back in the hands of the rightful owners, us. We fought to keep the independence of this country from England. We fought on the side of America to make this, the United States, to make this an independent government separate from England. And we did that, and they turned around, and it was more than Crispus Attucks that was fighting, a lot more. The indigenous people was part of the war. They was fighting against Europe, and you had some that was fighting against England, and you had some fighting with England. But a lot of our people helped to win that war, and we was always in every war ever since. But yet, we treated like second-class citizens. Yet we're treated like we outcast in our own country. This is our country. This is our country, and we're treated like outcasts in our country. And part of that reason is because y'all keep calling yourself black people. You keep calling yourself black people. This is why you're treated like outcasts in your country. Y'all keep perpetuating the lie that you have no history, that you have no culture, that you just came on some damn African slave ships and you just mixed it. And Tariq Nasheed, man, God damn it, Tariq Nasheed, just when I'll be like, hey, man, you know, you trying to tell the truth now about the indigenous, but then you still straddling the goddamn fence, Tariq Nasheed. You still straddling the fence. You still with this African nonsense. Yeah, we went through an ethnogenesis, and we was so let me get this straight, because this is what Tariq Nasheed said. He said that black Americans, we went through it. I keep revisiting this, and I talked about it before, how ridiculous that sounds. How ridiculous that sounds. He said that we went through some ethnogenesis, right? He said we went through some ethnogenesis in which African slaves were brought over here and mixed in with the indigenous American people. That's a lie. That is a lie. Bold-faced lie. How you know that ain't true is, how is it that we're, because again, he'll say we're not African, but you just said we the product of Africans mixing with indigenous people. So then you saying we African American. Remember I said that. He's still teaching us. We doubling down on this lie. Because you can't prove that. You would have to, for him to say that all so-called black Americans are part of some ethnogenesis, that means that you checked out the blood type of all so-called black Americans then, right? To know that they got African in them. Because for you to make a broad statement like that, that's a very broad statement for you to say that all black Americans are the product of Africans and indigenous people mixing. That's a damn lie, man. Why are you lying? That don't even make sense. You would have to check all the genetic material of our people to make that statement. I told y'all before, the American indigenous people tend to have O positive blood types. We tend to have a certain blood type, which is O positive. You see, that's the American indigenous blood type. South America, Central America, and if anybody's carrying that blood type, it's because they mix with us. But the original blood type of the American indigenous people is O positive. See, this is why the so-called Mongoloid natives, they don't want to take no blood test, because their blood will link back to the Siberian Asians, Asiatic people. They don't want to take no blood test, because you got to ask yourself a question. Y'all say y'all native to America, which really means y'all came from someplace else. So you are native. You came from someplace else. You came here, anchored yourself into the Americas, or you were brought here by the Spanish during when they brought the Asian slaves into Mexico. That's how you got these people that look like that now. You see. So my question is, how is it that you came from someplace else and you're linked to these people who are Asiatic people? So if you link to the Asiatic people, if you are genetically linked to the Asiatic people, then you Asian. You Asian. They keep lying, saying we link to Africans, but they know we're not linked to the Africans because, again, Africans have a certain blood type. And it's no disrespect to the African, but they have a certain blood type. B, AB, things like that, they tend to have a certain blood type. Somebody have A, we tend to have a certain blood type. It's O positive, which is really indigenous to America. The O positive blood type is indigenous to America. If it's found other places, that means that indigenous people traveled all over the world, because we were circumnavigating the planet before the white man and everybody else. So we went to all these places. Yeah. So to push this lie of Black History Month, you perpetuating the lie. By us sitting up here still buying into the lie that we came over on some African slave ships and we got black skin, that's pure ignorance at this point. That's people who choose to embrace pure nonsense and foolishness and stupidity. You so-called people that's embracing Black History Month. Our skin is not black. We did not come from no Africa on no slave ships. That term black came from the U.S. government to misclassify us purposely to hide our American Indian heritage. That's what that is. And they still do it to this day. We got to sit up here and prove that we American Indians. Really? Really? They know we American Indians. They know it. And they mad that we found out about it. That's what a lot of these Mongolians, because again, they never dispute the proof that we show that we the real American Indians, that the U.S. government once at one point classified us as Indians. They classified so-called Black Americans as Indians. Look it up. They classified us as Indians. So so holler at the U.S. government, tell them they wrong. Why would they classify us as, if they brought us from Africa, like they say they brought us all from Africa, why they classifying us as Indians? Why wasn't they saying we was Africans? Where's these African slave ships at? See, when you accept Black History Month, you accepting a lie. You accepting a lie. When you accepting that you black people and you accepting a lie. That's why, again, if we living in the real truth, if we living in real raw and uncut truth, then we can't accept these lies no more. We can't accept African Americanism. We can't accept black. We can't accept Negro. We can't accept colored. We can't accept none. And the color was a little closer to copper color, but we can't accept that no more. We out. And we proud Americans, man. American indigenous people. That's our culture, man. Our music is American music because we are the Americans who created it. First and only real Americans. The term American belongs to us. Us, the copper-colored people, the copper-colored races. Not to be confused with the Native Americans. Because again, Native means that you were born elsewhere. Your family originates elsewhere. And that they came here and had you, and now y'all become Native. But there's people that were here before you, us, and we still here. And all these people sit up here calling us African American, Negro, all this nonsense, and we going for it. Black people are going for it. So-called black people are going for this, unfortunately. So yeah. The hell with Black History Month. Abolish Black History Month. We don't need to celebrate no coons. We don't need to celebrate no Boule Sambo coons. We don't need them because they've been holding us back. They part of the lie, man. They part of the lie. They getting paid to lie to our people. I'm talking about these people that are still pushing Black History Month. They getting paid to lie to our people, man. Hide the fact that we the real American Indians. They hiding that. Lying that we came from Africa on some slave ships packed like sardines. Are you fucking for real? Excuse my language, but raw and uncut for a second. Are you for real? Man. So we canceling Black History Month. We've been canceled Black History Month over here. Black history don't get no play over here. And none of the icons that you're sitting up here trying to get us to look up to, like Frederick Douglass. Ain't that who you always pushing, Umar? Umar Johnson always pushing Frederick Douglass, Marcus Garvey, two Boule coon sellouts. So what does that lead you to think? That he's a sellout too. He trying to push you into Africa. He's over there in Africa. Now he's back over here in America. Got you hustling. Got you out here hustling, Umar. They got you out here hustling Pan-Africanism. Scam Africanism, trying to get y'all to go to Africa, leave America and go to some places that I wouldn't let a damn dog stay in. So you can get pushed up on by a bunch of thirsty, hungry people who looking at you as an American lick. They don't look at you as African. The so-called Africans don't see us as Africans because they know we not. We the only ones that sitting up here stupid trying to Black History Month. Do you see the Africans celebrating Black History Month? Do you see the Africans calling themselves Black people? No, you do not. No, you do not. No, you do not. So that means that term Black and all that other stuff came from here. It didn't come from there. We didn't call ourselves Black. Racist Caucasians called us Black. Racist Caucasians, starting with the Spanish, the Europeans, they called us Negroes, Black people. Our skin is not black. Our skin is bronze copper colored like the pennies. You see? So I want them to abolish Black History Month and right month, if we're going to celebrate. And I found out about this, that there's American Indian Month. There's American Indian History Month. Or in November, my birthday, the month of my birthday, American Indian History Month. Y'all know about American Indian History Month. We celebrate American Indian History Month over here. That's what I'm celebrating, American Indian History Month. The hell with Black History Month. We should be celebrating American Indian History Month. You see, that's what we should be celebrating as American Indians, as the real American Indians, not to be confused with the Native Americans. We are not no Black Native Americans. We were always here in America. We didn't come from someplace else like the natives, because under that terminology, the white man is a native, the Asians, all those people that came from elsewhere are natives, because they came from elsewhere, came into America, started having children here, and they became native to the land. We, as the indigenous people, trump everybody because we were always here in America. There was never a time where we were not here in America. All that nonsense, they keep saying it came from Africa. We didn't come from no Africa. No Africa, we didn't. There was no transatlantic slave trade, because it wouldn't have made sense to have a transatlantic slave trade. Let me tell you something. When people are dealing with money, I want y'all to understand this. Because one thing I will say about the so-called white man, your racists and your business people, I'm not saying all white people, but your racists, your business people who are racist, they are very pragmatic people, meaning that they're practical people. Business people are practical people. They are not going to go to a place to seek out workers who can't speak the language, who are not native to the land, who don't know who are not indigenous to the land. They don't look for the people who can do everything they need to get done. That would not be the Africans. That would be the American indigenous people, the real American Indians. That would be them. And it's not the so-called Native Americans, because the so-called Mongoloid Native Americans, you don't hear nothing about them farming, because they got this thing, the so-called Native Americans. Yeah, well, our people was never enslaved. You people was enslaved. Our people wasn't enslaved. You know why the Native Americans wasn't enslaved? You know why? Because they didn't know how to do shit. They didn't know how to do anything other than make primitive weapons and hunt buffalo and whatever they got from us. They learned how to hunt. They didn't know how to do anything. That's why the white man didn't enslave them. Don't let them fool you and tell them, we fought and we didn't know y'all didn't. Nobody was checking for y'all. They used the Europeans used the Native Americans, the Mongolian Native Americans. They used them to help them catch the real American Indians, us. Who you think was helping? Who you think was helping the white man, along with a few trader tribes, of our people? Who you think was helping them to capture the indigenous people, help them raid our villages and our places where we had our own everything? Because they have a history of doing that. When you hear about racist Caucasians going into so-called black towns and tearing up black towns and looting the towns and all this other stuff, they got a history of doing that. They got a history of running into our areas and looting and burning down stuff, or taking the people hostage and forcing them to work. That's what they did. That's how slavery really got started, by them capturing people, the indigenous people, and making them work. They didn't need the so-called native Mongoloids because they didn't know how to do nothing. What good would that be? Because wouldn't that make sense? Because tell me, you want to tell me, they were just such fierce warriors and all this, that they wouldn't work and all this, they were just such, that's BS. The only reason the Europeans did not take the Native Americans, the Mongolians, because they didn't know how to do anything. They wanted the people who knew how to do anything. They would be worse than slavery. You won't tell me what Native Americans did anything in America of any real substance. You tell me. Their so-called culture, which is really a ripoff of a lot of our stuff, their so-called culture comes from us. You see, you know what that would be like now? That would be like, let me give you an example. That would be like if we let the lie that Latinos created 50-50 half of hip hop, if we let that lie ride, and eventually it would have became they created hip hop. If we let that lie go on, then eventually when we come back and say we're gonna rap and we're gonna do it, oh, y'all ain't no rappers, y'all didn't create hip hop because we let the lie go for so long. And our people let the lie go for so long because their lives are being threatened, that if they stood up as American Indians, if they stood up as the American Indigenous people, you know, you get people at your door, oh, what you doing, you know, trying to kill you or whatever the case is. They threatened our people into being black. The U.S. government threatened our people into being black, threatened our people into being Negroes, threatened our people into being African Americans. You see, they had people that was helping them sell our people out into pushing that lie to our people. You see, they did that. That's the only reason why the white man didn't enslave the so-called Native Americans, because they didn't know how to do anything. They hell, let's look. You don't have to believe nothing I'm saying. Look at their history. How they always show the Native Americans? Do they ever show you them farming? Do you ever show you them farming? Did they ever show you them building anything? Huh? Did they ever show you them farming or building anything? Like losing brick? Do you ever see them doing anything other than living in areas and basically living off the land like campers? That's how they always show you. They living in teepees in certain areas. They might pick up the road show and continue moving on with their little teepees and stuff. They were squatters. These people are squatters. They were squatters when they came into America. You see? And this is why the white man used them to help them hunt down our people, because there wasn't enough Caucasians here. Over time, they started building up, but they had to get allies. They had to get allies to help them, like today. Like today. Ain't nothing changed. It's like today. They had to get allies to help them. They used the Native Americans as allies to chase down the real American indigenous people, us. And these same people sit here, and because, like I said, even the so-called Mongoloid Red Indians was allowed to own indigenous people, us, so-called black slaves. Because the government, they stripped us of who we are as American Indians. They stripped us of that identity. They stripped us of who we are as Americans, the real American indigenous people. They stripped us of all our knowledge of who we were and forced us into being black Americans, Christian black Americans, you know, programming our people to be Christian black Americans. We were people that followed law and order. You see, whether it be tribal or whatnot, we followed law and order, man. We followed codes of conduct and law and order. We didn't follow no God. We didn't follow no God, no Jesus. We followed codes of conduct and law and order. You see, that's who we were. We didn't look up in the imaginary sovereign powers, any God. We knew what the next world was, but like I said, they forced us into being black people. The U.S. race, the racists in this society forced us into being black people. On paper, created a paper genocide to erase our American Indian heritage, and it still goes on. Every time you hear these people talking about African Americans did this or African Americans did that, that's them still erasing who we are as American indigenous people. They want to act like the Mayans wasn't here, because see, they know that the Mayan civilization was here, and they knew that from the Mayans, all the indigenous tribes came out of the Mayans, and that's how our people spread out in the South. You see, we are Mayans, we are Mesoamericans, we are American Indians. That's our heritage. That's our culture. Don't let nobody try to blacken us, hide us, tell this lie that we came over here on African slave ships and that we was packed like sardines. More lies, man. More lies. This Black History is a lie. Black History Month would be a lie if we lived out and followed Black History Month. We live in a lie. So my thing is, in 2025, should we still be living this lie? In 2025, should we still be living the lie? Should we still be living the lie as African Americans, as black people, as Negroes? No, you got people out here trying to give us remixes, FBA. They trying to give us remixes of black African Americanism. You see, they trying to give us remixes. We don't need no black remix. We don't need no African American remix. We don't need somebody telling us that we're supposed to look up to a bunch of goddamn icons and follow along with the line. No, we don't need that. We don't need people lying to us. Too many people been lying to us, man. And if we follow Black History Month, we are complicit in the lie. Following Black History Month would make us complicit in the lie that we came from Africa, that we black-skinned people. No, man, no. We can't be complicit with the lie no more. You see, not when we know the truth. Not when we know the truth about who we are as the real American indigenous people. Not when we know the truth. We can't be complicit with the lie no more. Those days is over with. Now, if a lot of you so-called Black Americans, you Negroes, you bullet, again, if y'all wanna die with the lie, then you niggas die with the lie, man. We gonna live with the truth, man. You niggas die with the lie. We gonna live with the truth. A lot of you so-called pro-Black, and I said this before. I say it again. I'm gonna double down. I don't want everybody claiming American Indian. I don't want everybody claiming American or so-called Black. Y'all been Black too long, so y'all might as well just gotta stay Black, man. Because all you're going to do is bring some chaos and confusion into our culture and our heritage as American indigenous people. We have our own culture. We have our own heritage. Don't listen to these coons like Busta Rhymes and Fat Ho. Don't listen. We got our own culture. We got our own heritage. You see, as American indigenous people, as Americans, our music, our food is thoroughly American. It's not African. It is not African. Our music is not African. Our foods are not African. Our hairlines, our full hairlines are not African. Bronze indigenous hairline, no spray, all that. I love to brag about. I had the waves back in the day. We got that wavy curly hair, that woolly texture, wavy curly. But like I said, our thing is thoroughly American. This is American. Our shiny skin with sheen to it, that's American, man. It's American indigenous, man. And if you should see any of our people in the diaspora in Africa, what that means, they American, man. They American. Okay? We American. We American. We are American indigenous people. We're the only real Americans. And for, like I said, if y'all want to be African, if y'all want to celebrate Black History Month, have at it, man. Because one thing I'm not going to do, we're not going to argue with we're not arguing with no goddamn people that want to erase their own culture and their own history. We're not arguing with people who want to believe that our history starts with the formation of America, with the formation of the United States. We are the Americans. Before there was a United States, we are the American Indians. You see, and it's time for us to acknowledge that, those of us who are in our right state of mind. Like I said before, I don't think all Black people should claim it. I don't think so-called Black people who still in that state of ignorance, who still want to be Black, who still want to believe all life started in Africa, who still believe we part of some ethnogenesis. There ain't no goddamn ethnogenesis, man. Ain't no we mixed with no African. Stop lying. Y'all is teaching that lie. Stop lying. You can know the blood type real fast, who's mixed with African and who's not. The blood type always not African bloodline. Again, it's no disrespect. We just in different parts of the world. And I'm not saying that we not kin to the Africans, some of them, but our blood type is here. So we need to be celebrating American history, American Indian History Month in November, which is my birthday, the month of November. Celebrate American Indian History Month. Our real heritage as American Indians. There's a reason why the so-called Native Americans don't call themselves American Indians. You know that? Why? If they say they're the American Indians and that they're the only American, they say they part of the lie too, man, because they know the U.S. government only accepted 5 so-called civilized tribes. Because remember, they was calling us the savage tribe. You had hundreds and hundreds of tribes all over this country. Hundreds of indigenous tribes all over the country. And the government only chose to accept 5. Like, for example, how certain powers that be behind the scenes don't want to accept American music coming from us anymore. They don't want to accept so-called Black American music. They want Latinos, other Asians and everybody else to do our music. They want our sound, but they don't want us. That's the same thing with the whole Native American thing. They wanted our culture, the feathered head crowns, all that come from us. They wanted our culture, but they didn't want us. They didn't want our face. Yeah. The link is in the description. Okay. Oh, my lovely wife came in. One of my lovely wives came in and let me know that we're doing the American Music Festival, right? I want to definitely mention that we're doing that in June, the American Indigenous Street and Music Festival. For those of our people who know we American Indigenous people, this ain't no Pan-African thing, this ain't no black thing, this ain't no Negro thing. So those of you who are acknowledging that we are American Indigenous people, that we are American Indians only, we are the Mesoamericans, the American Indian, all the original Americans, the indigenous peoples who are indigenous only to this land. If we acknowledge this, maybe we should celebrate that. It should be a time in which we should celebrate that. It's a time in which we should celebrate that. And that's what we're going to do in June. We're having the American Indigenous Street Music Festival in Atlanta. And we're looking for donations for people to donate because it's expensive to All right, I'm back. All right. We had a little buffering issue, but we back. But yeah, we're doing the American Indigenous Street Music Festival for the bronze-skinned indigenous people, for the bronze-skinned American indigenous people. We're not doing the black thing no more. We're not doing that. So y'all go down to the link, please, and donate to this. Let's make this happen. We're gonna do this here in Atlanta. It's expensive. We gotta have porta toilets here. Let's have a real American street festival, because this is the real American street festival we're gonna do. Anybody else that's doing street festivals, they representing some place else. Anybody's doing street festivals or any kind of celebration, they're celebrating where they come from. Like when you see the Italians, they do San Gennaro Festival. When you see the Italians, they do San Gennaro Festival. That's what they celebrating, the Italian heritage. When you see the Irish celebrating St. Patrick's Day, they celebrating their Irish their Irish history. So we as Americans, we as American indigenous people, we need our own festival. You see, come on out, William Mills. We want our people to come out, man. We want our people to come out. Let's show up and show out. Support the American Indigenous Street and Music Festival. If you support the festival, give let this be our Mecca. Let this be our history, our heritage. Let us come and celebrate our heritage and history, our true American heritage and history, our real American roots. We should be celebrating that. So I'm stomping hard for that. We should have that at least once a year. We should have a history. We should have our American Street and Music Festival, our American Indigenous Street and Music Festival at least once a year in Atlanta, which is a chocolate city. While it's still a chocolate city, yeah, we should do that. You see. Now we're doing this. We're doing our street festival. We're doing the American Indigenous Street and Music Festival in June of 2025. Okay, I'm gonna be advertising this. I'm gonna be advertising this all up until that time. We're looking for donations. So donate. Give what you can, or you can stand like at least $20 and better. I say that because we're trying to make this thing happen. So the more of our people, got at least over 1,000 people watch this, this live. And like I said, we got it's going to be June 21st and June 22nd. It's going to be 2 days. It's going to be June 21st and June 22nd. All right. And I'm going to give the location as time goes on. I don't like to give locations too early, but we got a location, beautiful park in Atlanta. We're going to have our American Indigenous Street and Music Festival as American Indigenous people. Not to be confused with Native Americans. Again, I don't got no problem with the Native Americans. Actually, I have no problem with the Native Americans at all. And the reason why I say that is because they are Native Americans. And when I say they're Native Americans, they are what the definition of Native American mean. I have no problem with white people, Asians, and them being Native Americans for what the term Native American means. The term Native American means people who originate from elsewhere and then came over into America and started having children there. And they are the descendants of those people. So yeah, they are Native. We are indigenous. We are indigenous. Now, if we was really African, then they could say we was Native Americans too, because we came from someplace else and we started having children. So that would make us technically Native American. So subscribe to this channel, and please hit the link below. Please hit the link below. We're doing this June 21st, 22nd. Y'all, I want everybody to come out. We're going to be doing it in Atlanta. Those of you who donated, we're going to shout you out at the street festival. Let's make this a big thing. This is really going to happen. This ain't no thing where like Umar Johnson went to school and y'all done been giving for 15 years and ain't shit happened. This is a real, this is going to be a real event, a big event. We're going to have it for 2 days, Saturday and Sunday. So come out, donate. Let's make it happen. I'm putting my money to this. I want to see this happen for our American Indigenous people for truth's sake. So come on out, support that. We're going to make this happen. The Republic of America is going to make the American Indigenous Street and Music Festival happen. Again, there's room for us. There's room for us as American Indigenous people. I don't like to use the word Indian. I say American Indigenous or Indigenese. I don't say, they say use the term Indian because the so-called white man called us Indians. I don't like to use no terminology they call us. Indians, Africans, Black, Negro, all of the above is not who we are. We are American, which the word American comes from us. They didn't come from America Vespucci. We are from our people, the word America comes, the word Amerisk. But you know, I really want this to be a thing going forward. I really want this to be a thing for the American Indigenous people, for the bronze-skinned people, the copper-colored people. Not you so-called Black people who want to stay in darkness. Again, this ain't no African thing. I know y'all been Africanized to death. I know your minds are going off of Pan-Africanism, aka, but this is a real thing dealing with our real heritage and culture and our existence in the Americas. First and only our existence here in America from the beginning. We were here in America from the beginning. We watched everybody come here. And again, there's a reason why our music and our culture dominates in America. All our music, our American music, blues, ragtime, jazz, soul, R&B, hip hop, you know, all of that is our music. Country, rock, that's all our music. That's all American Indigenous music that other people have appropriated, aka stole from our people. Which again, I don't have no problem with people playing our music, but God damn it, you're going to acknowledge who the music came from. Like how they try to hijack hip hop, man. But anyway, so please hit that link. Please donate. Please donate. Just, man, make it a point to donate till we get to this thing. Just if you donate $20 a week, that's fine. Put out $20 a week. But I'm straight up asking. I'm not sugarcoating the shit. I'm straight up asking. We want to make this happen. We need your help. Those of you who listen to this, those of you who bear witness, because I'm not using the money from y'all niggas on, you know, not saying y'all, but you know, niggas coming, oh, you trying to get money to use for, no, this is going on the festival. I don't need the money. I want to go to the festival. I want this to be a project that we as American Indigenous people, bronze people, have for ourselves. This needs to be our Mecca. This needs to be our Israel. You know how the people, when I say Mecca and Israel, I mean that these people go and see Israel and Mecca as a holy place to go at least once a year to make prayer, to pay homage to what they believe in and who they are. We need that as well as American Indigenous people. We need our own celebration. We need our own events that is based solely on who we are as Americans, as American Indigenous people. No black, no African American, no Negro, just who we are as bronze skinned people, bronze skinned American indigenous people. And that's what the thing we're gonna have the feathered headdresses there. You know, the ones that go up in the air, because that was the original feathered headdress that our people wore. All that other stuff, a lot of that stuff is suspect. All that other, the ones that hang down, I used to wear, I'm gonna be rocking the feathered one going up in the air because that comes from our people. That comes from our people. The feathered headdress, it look more like a crown. You know, the feathered headdress that looks more like a crown that goes in the air with the feathers. That's what our people were wearing. We wasn't wearing the ones that hang down. We was wearing the ones that grow up. So all that's coming. So hit the link. Like I said, donate. Come out. Everybody's invited out. Hit the link. Come. We're gonna be having a beautiful time. Music and it's gonna be a beautiful event. Music, dance, everything. We're gonna have things there for the children. We want this to be a real family event. So let's make this happen as a family. When I say family, I mean American Indigenous family. And those who outside want to donate, that's fine too. We open to everybody. Everybody could come out as long as you ain't causing no problems. Everybody could come out. As long as you ain't causing no problems, because we're gonna be heavy on security. And my daughter, we're gonna be heavy on security and police presence there. So we ain't gonna have nobody acting up. It's gonna be a beautiful event. We're gonna have music. We're gonna have those of you want to do spoken word. We're gonna send out the link for you that want to do spoken word. We're gonna have prize for those who might want to perform and rap and whatnot. We're gonna have a prize for people who win, who rap. You know, we're gonna have entertainment. We're gonna have a little bit of everything. Music. We might even have a live band out there. We're gonna have a stage out there. We play different parts of our music. We're gonna play some jazz. We're gonna play some R&B. We're gonna play some hip hop. We're gonna play rap. We're gonna play everything. Might have some people out here who could sing some blues. So this is all our culture and our heritage, man. The first annual festival, man. The first annual American Indigenous Street Music Festival. Yes, we are. This is our thing. You know, and we're gonna be celebrating November as American Indian History Month, my birthday. But for this June, let's make this happen, y'all. Let's make this happen. That's all I got on that. I ain't gonna touch nothing else. I don't think I got nothing else in the chamber. You know, so I might surprise y'all and come back on Sunday. I'll see. No, I ain't gonna do that. One of my wives be pissed off. She'll be pissed off if I come back. That's my chill out thing. But you know me, I'll be raring to go, but they really want me to chill out sometimes. So but that's it. Now I ain't got nothing else. We got any questions before I close out? Hit that link, please. Hit that link. Donate to that link. I'm gonna be blasting the hell out this link every time I come on. Hit the link. We need to make this happen. We need to make a statement. Make it happen. Let's make it happen. So that's it with me. We got any questions? Like I said, we're gonna have entertainment there. We're gonna have people from Atlanta. You know, people come out. You know, let's make this happen, man. So that's it. That's it. Any questions? Before I close, I gotta do my radio broadcast tonight. Any questions? Going once, going twice, going 3 times, 4th time, 5th time. Can I join the community? We got your application. Yeah. We got it. All right. No questions. 3rd time, 4th time, 5th time, 6th time. All right. What's the name of the clothing you're wearing? Oh, that's Oxnard. This is from Oxnard. It's from a company called Oxnard. You see? All right. That's it. All right. We're about to close out. In the name of Amen, by the power of Amen, and Amen we trust, and Amen we thank, and in Amen we continue forward forever. I am the intellectual Lord, Benjamin Manhattan. This has been High and Mighty Thoughts with me, the intellectual Lord, Benjamin Manhattan. I'll see you guys back here in a couple of days or so. I'll be back, all right. Hit that link. All right. Good night.
standing by the speaker. Suddenly I had this fever, wasn't me either. Summer madness. Cause I just can't stand around, so I get closer, and the closer I get, the better it sound. My mind start to activate, rhymes collaborate. Cause when I heard the beat, I just had to make something from the top of my head. So I fell into the groove of the wax, and I said, how could I move the crowd? First of all, ain't no mistakes allowed. Here's the instructions, put it together. It's simple, ain't it? But quite clever. Some of you been trying to write rhymes for years, but weak ideas irritate my ears. Is this the best that you can make? Cause if not, and you got more, I'll wait. But don't make me wait too long, cause I'ma move on the dance floor when they put something smooth on. So turn up the bass, it's better when it's loud. Cause I like to move the crowd.
Move the crowd. Move the crowd. Move the crowd. Move the crowd. Move the crowd. Move the crowd. Move the crowd. Move the crowd.
They measure me with the heat that's made by solar. It gets stronger every time I hold a microphone check. The tone it gets started. The line for the microphone is departed. So leave it up to me. My DJ is mixing. Everyone is moving or eager to listen. Your hands in the air, your mouth shut. Cause I'm on the mic and Eric B is on the cut. For those that know me, indeed I like the flow, especially when the music's going slow. It gives me a chance to let everybody know it's time to bust out the Rock Kemp show. I'm the intelligent, wise on the mic. I will rise right in front of your eyes, cause I am a surprise. So I'ma let my knowledge be born to a perfection. All praise is due to Allah, and that's a blessing. When knowledge itself, there's nothing I can't solve. In 360 degrees, I revolve. This is actual fact. It's not an act, it's been proven indeed. And I proceed to make the crowd keep moving.
Move the crowd. Move the crowd. Move the crowd.